You ever get that feeling like you're just constantly juggling, reacting to everything life throws at you, and really wishing there was a simpler, maybe more peaceful way through it all?
That sense of being overwhelmed.
Exactly. Well, welcome to the deep dive. This is where we explore big ideas, and it's tailored for you, the learner, someone looking to get a real handle on things without getting buried.
Welcome to Daily Harmony.
Today, we're zeroing in on one really potent line from A Course in Miracles. It's Workbook Lesson 195. Love is the way I walk in gratitude.
It's such a simple sentence, but wow, there's a lot packed in there.
Right. And our mission today isn't just to, define the words, but to really unpack how love can actually be our daily path. And how gratitude isn't just something we feel sometimes, but maybe the fuel that keeps us going.
Yeah, the energy behind it. We'll be looking at bits from the workbook itself, obviously, but also an analysis focused right on Lesson 195 and some study guide thoughts to see how this plays out practically.
And helping us connect those dots, we have our expert guide here who's great at digging into the why behind these concepts.
Happy to explore it with you. It's a powerful lesson.
Okay, so love is the way I walk in gratitude. Beautiful phrase. But what does it actually mean to live like that day to day?
Well, I think what's fascinating here is how the Course frames love. It's not just an emotion we stumble into. It's presented as a conscious pathway, a deliberate choice.
A path we choose to walk on.
Exactly. And the idea is when we intentionally pick love as like our operating system, gratitude just arises naturally, becomes the atmosphere.
Less about, oh, I got a promotion, I'm grateful, and more like a baseline state.
Precisely. It's less about reacting thankfully to specific events, though that's fine too, of course.
Mhm.
It's more about this inherent appreciation, this deep okayness
Yeah.
that comes from recognizing the love that the Course says is our fundamental reality.
Okay, so if love is the way, the direction, gratitude is how we move along it, like the steps we take.
You can think of it like that. Yeah. According to the Course, our true nature is loving. It's connected. All the fear, the separation, the conflict. That's the ego's illusion.
Right, the ego's story.
Exactly. So when we actively choose to operate from love, we start seeing through those illusions. And what's left, what becomes clear, is this profound sense of gratitude for what's actually real, the connection, the underlying love.
I think most people think of gratitude as a reaction. Something happens, then we feel grateful. This lesson seems to flip it.
It really does. That's a key insight. Instead of waiting for the good stuff to roll in before we say thanks, this lesson encourages us to choose gratitude first.
Choose it how?
By choosing love first.
Yeah.
It's deciding consciously to see the world, see others, see ourselves through that lens of inherent worth, of love, of abundance. It's an active stance.
Okay, an active stance, not passive reception.
Right. And that stance, that choice, then shapes how we interpret and respond to literally everything that happens.
That feels like a really subtle but huge shift in perspective. So it's less, I'm grateful because this happened, and more, I choose to see with gratitude, and that seeing is an act of love.
You've got it. That's the core of it. And making that choice consistently, well, it changes things. It builds connection with ourselves first, maybe most importantly, but also with others, with, the world. It starts to dissolve that feeling of being alone or separate that the ego thrives on.
The lesson title uses the phrase walking in love. What does that look like, practically speaking, on a Tuesday afternoon when things are stressful?
Walking in love means making love the conscious filter for our thoughts and actions. So that stressful Tuesday afternoon, instead of automatically reacting with, say, irritation or blame.
Which is easy to do.
Oh, absolutely. It's the default sometimes. But walking in love means pausing and choosing maybe patience instead, or seeking to understand the other person's perspective, even if you disagree. It's about leading with compassion for yourself, too, not just others, especially when it's tough.
Leading with compassion. I like that. The briefing document we looked at mentions a daily gratitude practice. How does that specifically tie into this idea of walking in love?
That practice becomes a really concrete way to sort of reinforce the choice, to strengthen that muscle. When you deliberately take a moment, maybe morning, maybe evening, just to name things you appreciate.
Even small things.
Especially small things sometimes. It anchors you. But the key, connecting it back to love, is to see how those things reflect love or abundance. Don't just list my comfy chair. Feel the comfort, the safety, the quiet moment. Maybe see that as a form of love, of care, present in your life.
Okay, so if I'm grateful for, say, a friend who listened to me,
Ah,
it's not just acknowledging the act of listening.
right. It's recognizing the love behind it, the care, the connection that friend represents or expresses. You feel the gratitude for the love manifested through them.
That deepens it considerably.
It does. And this isn't just for the good times. The real practice, the really transformative part, is trying to find something to be grateful for even when things are hard. That sounds challenging,
It is challenging.
but incredibly powerful. Can you find gratitude for the strength you're discovering? For a lesson learned, even if it's painful, for the simple fact that you're breathing through it, it's about training the mind to see the presence of love or the potential for it, even in the midst of difficulty.
Finding love amidst the hardship. Okay. The sources also brought up simple acts of kindness. Where do they fit?
Acts of kindness are like love in motion. They're a direct, tangible expression of choosing love over indifference or frustration or self-absorption, holding a door, offering a genuine compliment, helping someone out.
Small things again.
Often, yes. And notice what happens inside you when you do them. Usually there's a warmth, right? A feeling of connection, maybe even joy.
Yeah, there is.
That feeling, that's often gratitude bubbling up, triggered by the act of extending love.
Huh. So giving love outward actually generates gratitude inward. It's a cycle.
Exactly, it feeds itself. Which makes that reflection exercise mentioned in the study guide really useful too. What does that involve again?
Right, the reflection exercise. It's suggested spending maybe 10 minutes just quietly thinking about times you've really felt loved or times you've genuinely extended love
Mm-hmm.
and just sitting with those feelings, noticing the impact they had on you, on how you saw things then. It's about remembering the reality of love in your own experience.
Yeah, it makes it less of an abstract idea, doesn't it? It grounds it in your felt sense. And then there was the gratitude letter.
Yeah, taking it a step further, actually writing down, maybe sending, maybe not a letter to someone who really impacted you with their love or support,
Okay.
detailing why you're grateful, what their love meant to you. Apparently, it really cements that connection in your own mind between love received and the feeling of gratitude.
That makes sense. It's a very concrete action. Now, the briefing document posed a really key question, I thought. It was something like, what shifts might happen in how I see challenges or conflicts if I approach them from this love-gratitude perspective?
Right, that's a big one. What does shift?
Well, think about it. If you consciously choose love as your starting point when facing a conflict, you're probably less likely to jump immediately to defensiveness or anger, right?
Hopefully. Yeah. Maybe more curiosity.
Maybe more curiosity, more empathy perhaps, a willingness to understand before reacting. And if you're also actively looking for anything to be grateful for, even within that difficult situation.
Like grateful for the chance to practice patience.
Or,
Or,
or grateful for the clarity the conflict is bringing, maybe. Grateful for the other person showing you where you need to heal. It shifts the energy. You move away from seeing it purely as a negative towards seeing potential learning or connection.
so it moves you away from that fear-based reaction.
Exactly. Fear and that sense of separation, the Course tells us again and again, they come from the ego's viewpoint, focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, who's to blame.
Us versus them thinking.
Totally. But choosing love and cultivating gratitude through that love, it pulls your focus back to connection, back to shared humanity, back to potential. It highlights abundance instead of lack. And that shift, done consistently, starts to dismantle the ego's grip. It moves you towards peace, towards unity.
So it's really not just about, slapping a positive sticker on things. It feels much deeper, like a fundamental retraining of the mind.
That's exactly what it is. It's presented as a core spiritual practice. Choosing love as the way, actively cultivating gratitude as the perspective. This is the path to spiritual growth and healing within this framework. It's how you align your mind with your true nature, which the Course says is love.
Wow. Okay. So wrapping this up then, the main takeaway seems to be that this line, love is the way I walk in gratitude. It's not just poetry.
Not at all. It's a practical instruction manual almost.
A daily commitment. Lead with love in how you see things, how you interact, and then actively look for reasons to be grateful everywhere. Not ignoring the bad stuff, but changing how you frame it, how you walk through it.
And that consistent practice, that choice made again and again,
Yeah.
is what starts to build that sense of inner peace, that daily harmony we mentioned, that deep connection.
So here's something for you, the learner, to maybe chew on today. Think about one thing, maybe even a small thing, that feels like a challenge right now.
Mm-hmm.
What might shift, just potentially, if today you consciously decided to approach that specific thing by walking in love, maybe choosing understanding over complaint? And at the same time, looking for even one tiny thing within or around that challenge to genuinely feel grateful for.
What new angle might appear? What possibility could open up just
Yeah.
by shifting that internal stance?
It's an experiment worth trying.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for digging into this with us.
My pleasure. It's a rich topic.
Until our next deep dive.